to rust. If I just decide to walk out of here, maybe about 3 or 4, you got the call. All right, I'm gonna go upstairs and finish the Pedro's pizza. Start pulling a Harry Doyle and bring me these shooters in my bag. I always do this.
Right, Nader? What's going on, big guy?
Nothing much. Not radio duty.
Score prediction. What do you think?
I'm not going to give a prediction simply because I have family playing in the game tonight.
Nobody else is going to hear it. Just me.
We won't tell anybody that's not on our Facebook.
I only repeated 17 or 18 times tonight.
I might not be playing otherwise.
I saw that. I saw his name on there. Doing a little kicking, huh?
For who?
Yeah,
For who?
Napoleon.
Who you rooting for? Ooh.
Uh-oh. Nader.
Ooh.
This is why I'm not wearing any team's colors tonight.
Dude, this is a tough one for you.
I know this is probably the toughest game I've ever done.
Yeah. You're still Defiance. Don't fake it, Nate.
Because I've got my nephew going up against my alma mater.
Uh-oh.
That's easy. Whoever's home, whatever press box you're in.
Yeah.
You know which one you're doing?
No, I don't. I would say there's a better chance of me doing mostly homes. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to think, do we have, is this the good year or the bad year?
Peter, how are you?
How you
doing, bud?
Good.
I think this is the bad year. I think Kenton, Salina, and St. Mary's are all on the road.
You done?
Okay.
Keep it civil.
Hey, Rick, smile for a picture. How about that?
You need this.
Ooh, I like that tunnel down there.
You said you're good at your stats. You have access to them?
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently they're sponsored. So anytime you tell me you're ready, they exclude you.
Oh, no. It came back for you.
What I can do is, depending on the time, I can give quick, stat recaps at the end of the school.
No.
Let me,
Somebody's ping pong in your head telling you how to do it.
Listen, if you need a, you know what I mean? Like, it's a
That's
great
a good thing.
in my head for
thing on the
Yeah,
ears.
yeah. It's a random.
because, yeah.
You're a math teacher.
Yeah,
But before
I'm a math teacher, but I don't necessarily like adding up a bunch of numbers, so I thought, let me get some electronic device that will add it.
I honestly don't. I remember
They
we used
switched-
Salesforce.
well, but I mean like network and all that stuff.
Yeah.
My like your original email was that.
We talked about that on.
Maybe. This is funny because probably in the last 6 months, I randomly was thinking about like, what systems do you use?
Right?
What was our radio program?
Okay, note for next week or tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these lights, because of they shouldn't put on too much heat, but they're worried about any light that they turn these on, getting shadows, we would end up with like raccoon eyes, shadows and all that stuff, so they're trying to give us a little, or coming up that way, so.
Are you in yet? No, hang on. I've got the days that you need to talk to right here. Hang on, I'm going to hit you.
Hi, Ray, how are you? Good. Welcome to all the stuff. It's called eye test. So, so if I go back to last season, so I'm doing the point game. So then I click on the stats. So then that's the point stats from last year. And I click that. So those are the team stats. So first downs, rushing, receiving, all the things. Then I don't read everything. I do not do defense or sacks or anything like that. So if you want to keep track of stats or sacks, you know, and get out of here, and we're leaders.
They got your beta version for football.
I got to show you something. You can't see it on the line yet, but that's just your guys' frame, so you guys have an understanding of what it looks like.
Okay.
So you guys, this way you guys, as soon as we cut, you guys have a feed to look at it.
He's gonna set this up for us.
Yeah. So just keep looking at yourself every now and then, so you know if you're in frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. You won't hear nothing from me. Okay. Good luck, guys.
Thanks, dude.
Break a leg, guys.
Penalties
So he's just
Pretty much. Yeah.
I'm just saying, the penalties are what gives difficulty in typing all that stuff. Because what happens is,
I thought he did too.
I don't
But-
start this, what's the length of the season, like, show you here. Like what happens is, these are the four numbers. So, team counts, I'll click penalties, if it's a run, I click on rush. Click rush, and then it knows who has the ball, so it'll give just a drop-down menu, click who did it, and then I basically say where did they advance the ball to. And it does all the addition and everything. So I basically say where the play started. So it's a fancy calculator with a spreadsheet, basically. I don't read tomorrow.
And they've got, I think, 2 radio stations. Plus that, T-Ram Live or whatever it is.
Explain this to me again. So I thought it was.
I But I hope there's one. Take a picture of it and send it. Is that a penalty? I talked to him. So I talked to him. I've talked to him quite a bit this summer, actually. I called him and I said, hey, just kind of like bounce it off of him, because he's.
We had 10 breaks. I guess I could just say this about 30 seconds.
Actually, the way it spun
You're my witness.
when Andy decided to do it, part of his deal was that he will still do spins. He wants to do spins. He just moved up to it.
Sarah's, or not Sarah, Katie's under that monitor.
Okay. Well, we have. Okay. That'll be like an actual live feed.
Should have live feed without the graphics. Whatever Twitch is doing.
Okay. Instead of the stream.
If you're going to get like a 65-second delay on that.
That'd be way better. Because Rob thought it would only be a second or two, but I didn't think
put Garrett's mic into my camera, so I'm gonna tell him to turn it on and test it. Okay. Never mind. I need to find out how to change it because I thought I changed it and it didn't. Camera's audio, not the mic audio he's holding. What? Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with it, because I have the input set at line 1 on the side, and then I put in the menu settings, I went to the interior mic set, I have no idea what's wrong with it. Because it says input channel select, I put input 1, input 1. It has no trim or anything on it. Like, I see you. Exterior.
Check, check, check. Testing, testing. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Checking, checking, checking. Test, 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 test. Test, testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing. Still checking, testing. All of that. Fun. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Check, 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 check. Checking. Test, test, test.
Thank you.
You're not proud of yourself for being out here, all you seniors, I'm sure proud of you. For sticking it out, taking all the hard time, and taking the tough knocks, and taking the criticism, and hanging on to that rope and pulling yourself up. And we got 4 games to win, and we're pulling, and we do it the way we know how. We out-hit the opponent, we outsmart the opponent, but most of all, we play Defiance football for 48 minutes.
Thing every year, no matter what the previous season brought to us, the new season is here, and they're going to come out and they're going to get to it right here in week number 1.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about this game is it doesn't matter how good you're going to be or what it is. If you win this game, it's already going to be a good year for either squad. You lose this game, you're behind the 8 ball a little bit. So, you get Defiance here on a little bit of a roll as of late, but you're going to get a battle every time Napoleon and Defiance meet, and it's always good to maybe have the home field swing like it is this year. But outside of that, it's a great game no matter what.
Well, it's like I said, the 101st meeting between these two teams. Our pregame show, underwritten by the Straight East Center for the Arts. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to head down on the field, check things out. I don't think that field conditions might be much of an issue, but we're going to check things down on the field as we'll bring in the third member of our team coming up after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Thanks, Josh. Just a quick look down here at the field. The weather is great. Weather's fantastic, but a little bit of wind coming from behind the stadium, but conditions look great down here at Fred Brown Stadium.
Welcome back to Fred J. Brown Stadium as we are again getting ready for kickoff here of the 2023 football season. Hard to believe it's that time of the year again. That means that the start of the school year is around the corner too. Strady for Center for the Arts pregame show here tonight. We're going to start by kicking off with heading down to the field tonight, and the third member of our broadcast team checking things out down on the stadium. Obviously, we had a little rain earlier tonight, but field conditions not ever an issue. Garrett Mansfield joining us on the sidelines tonight. Garrett, let's take a look at how things looking down there, the atmosphere. It should be another good one here tonight.
Yeah, it really is, Josh. It's buzzing with excitement, as it always is every year for Defiance and Napoleon. Weather conditions, as you just mentioned, it is picture perfect. Sometimes in these August games, you always have to run the risk for the potential for cramping. The hot temperatures, making sure you're hydrated. However, the things nice and cool for the entire evening. Might get a stray shower here coming in a little while, but other than that, it is picture. I mean, plenty of media around, so that's always a good thing. Getting a lot of coverage for this football game on a Thursday night to get the season started off right in 2023.
Well, all right. Thanks, Garrett. We appreciate all of his efforts, and he'll be joining us throughout the night, and we're excited to be having him as part of our team here in week number 1 and throughout the season as well. Strady Center for the Arts pregame show rolls on. Let's talk about the home team here tonight, Defiance Bulldogs. They come in on this brand new season off of last year, a 7-5 record. They finished 5-4 in the Western Buckeye League, 5th place, and made the playoffs last year. Actually, their first playoff win in 19 years. Big accomplishment for this squad. Travis Cooper, their head coach, in his 3rd season now, and Brent, obviously we remember Coach Cooper in his days at Wauseon, and now coming here and really starting to turn the tide with this program.
Yeah, coming into a program in the condition it was, that we struggled a little bit with numbers here in Defiance, but you're starting to build that up a little bit. And it's going to take Coach Cooper a couple years to get it rolling. Last year was kind of that stepping stone season where you found a little bit of momentum early on and carried that throughout the year, able to get in and win their first playoff game in 19 years, which is, to think about is just to knock that wall down is something of an accomplishment. So looking to build off that here in year 3 and kind of go from there, keep it rolling, and keep everything moving in a positive direction.
Well, they got some key pieces of the puzzle. Brez Zipfel, it starts with him controlling the offense. He is now actually has been starting since about midway through his freshman year, now a junior, and we've seen some really nice progressions from him, not just at that quarterback spot, but as a leader as well.
Yeah, talking about it a little bit, we were watching before the game and seeing the cannon that he has the rifle on that arm, but he does a little bit. I mean, athletically, he can move around a little bit, and then from there, he's great at leading the guys on the field, getting the play calls in, getting the offense rocking and rolling and moving in the right direction.
Brez will have a nice weapon in the backfield with him in Brogan Castillo, who is, as we know, will play a little bit of defense too, but is a monster of a workhorse when it comes to this offense.
Yeah, tough kid back there, and somebody you can lean on, turn around, and feel good about handing the ball off too. Getting chunk yardage plays. He's athletic at the same time. He's a tough kid, strong kid, likes to get hit. And, you look for that in a running back and somebody who's going to tailor the offense.
All right, and again, we'll talk some more about this, as I had an opportunity earlier this week to sit down and chat with the Defiance head coach, Travis Cooper.
Well, Coach, as we head into this brand new season, your second year, Defiance Napoleon doesn't get any bigger
big
than
rivalry game. Talk about what this means to you and the team.
This is obviously a huge game, and it's one of those things where you want to start the season off, well, and you know it doesn't get any bigger than playing your rival.
Well, like we said, going into your second season, what do you see from the off season as far as progressions, and what things are you looking for to get this second?
Well, Coach, as we head into the new season,
we had a really good
obviously we're going to get going with Napoleon. Big rivalry game. Talk about what this means to you.
All right, welcome back as we are continuing to roll on with this pregame show here tonight. As again, looking at this Defiance Bulldog team, Brent, they obviously, we talked a little bit about that offensive side of the things. Defensively, a couple of guys that they're going to miss from the last couple of years. Christian Camaso, big tackler on that other side of the football. Gavin Miller, a good leader as well. And when you talk with Coach Cooper, that's one of the things that they're going to be looking for is depth and who's going to step up and be a leader on this
coming into your third
year.
Yeah,
we're dealing with a little bit of a younger defense.
Last year,
trying to build off of last year's outstanding defense. I
win.
think take away the Van Wert game. You know, they're outside of that game, they gave up an average of just under 14 points, which is tremendous. Building off of that, you're going to have some young guys in there, and the key is going to be on the front, down there in the trenches, and to get, win that battle at the line of scrimmage. It's going to control the clock a little bit, get your defense off the field, get your offense back on the field. That's the goal. That's what they're looking to attend.
Well, of course, if you look at this defense, the biggest thing that we're going to have here is the backside of that defense, the defensive secondary. They are a veteran group of guys led by Garrett Rodenberger, who is one of those seniors on this team. Again, looking for leaders on both sides of the football. He's going to get in it a little bit at tight end, but biggest thing for him is he plays one of those safety roles. He roams that backfield. He covers very well, and he's quick to the ball, and I'm telling you, he's not afraid to lay the wood, and he will get out there and hit somebody. Anthony Wilder, Antonio Lopez, the other corners, and then Eli Howerton also in there will be in that defensive secondary. You got a lot of experience there, and that's, when you look at some of the games, now we might not see a lot of passing here tonight, but as you get down the road, you're going to see that, and knowing that you have the experience in that defensive backfield is going to be key for this defense.
Absolutely. You need leaders back there, and they have a few here, starting off with Antonio Lopez and Anthony Wilder, Garrett Rodenberger, a couple of the kids back there. They're leaders. They're good out there on that side of the ball, and what you're looking for in the secondary is to have somebody out there, almost like a quarterback on the field, to get out there, spy, watch the plays, and get after the ball when it's in the air. I know, like you said, we may not see a whole lot of that tonight, but as the year progresses and goes on, you're going to rely a lot on that secondary.
Defiance is now won the last two meetings in this, the first time since 2000 and 2001. Defiance has strung together a pair of wins. Obviously, you'd like to make it 3 in a row, keep the rock here, but it's not going to be an easy test here tonight. And, when we talk about this rivalry, you and I both went to school here, and it's not just football. It's baseball, it's basketball, it's all the sports, softball, it's soccer. This is one of those fun nights. It happens to be on a Thursday night before school starts. It makes it a little bit more special as we see the crowd starting to filter in a little bit. But, this is one of those, you can't beat a good rivalry game.
No, you can't. And I remember years ago we used to talk about this being the only game on Thursday nights, in the entire state. Now a lot of other teams have jumped on that, kicking it off a night before everybody else does. You get a little bit more focus from the community. And when it comes down to a big rivalry game like this, you're going to have intrigue. You're going to have, like we said earlier, you throw the records out, It comes down to winning this game. It's a big, huge gold star if you get the win. It's a big, huge black mark if you don't. So what you want to go out there is keep the rock, in your possession if you're Defiance, steal the rock back if you're Napoleon. And both teams are going to look to do that tonight. It's going to be one of those things you always sit down and watch, and you could have a 3-0 game, you could have a 47-46 game, and it's going to be a great game.
The last two victories, 7-0 and 28-7, and that's the tale of two cities. I believe we have the interview with Travis Cooper ready to go. Let's sit down and talk with Defiance head coach Travis Cooper.
Well, Coach, as we head into the new season, obviously we're going to get going with Napoleon. Big rivalry game. Talk about what this means to you.
It gives me butterflies and anxiety, and it gives me the feelings just like I did back when I was a player. So, can't wait.
Well, coming into your third year, obviously, coming off last year, getting into the playoffs, getting a playoff win, first playoff win in quite a long time. What does that do going into the off season to build some? Well, Coach, as we head into the new season, obviously we're going to get going with Napoleon. Big rivalry game. Talk about what this means to you.
All right, we'll continue to roll on here with our pregame show. Let's take a quick timeout. Let's get a note from our underwriter. Again, Strady Center for the Arts. Our pregame show. More to come. We'll talk about the Napoleon Wildcats next on DCTV Sports. Welcome back to the Fred J. Brown Athletic Complex. It is week number 1 of the high school football season, 101st meeting between Defiance and Napoleon, the old River Rock rivalry. Josh Bush and Brent Round with you here on DCTV Sports. And Brent, let's take a look. The opponent here tonight is the Napoleon Wildcats. They come in off of a 4-7 season last year under their first-year head coach, Tyler Swery. Obviously now he's looking to change things around in his second year here at the helm. And a lot of coaches will tell you that second year is one that you really look to start to look and see how the new coaching strategies are going to start to work out.
Yeah,
coming into your third year, obviously, coming off last year, getting into the playoff,
if you look at the results from last year, they kind of started off slow,
quite a long time.
Gained a little bit momentum.
What does that do going into the
off season
last year
to get into the playoffs and did so. So they're rolling with a little bit of momentum.
Things to look at, go listen. We're on the right track.
As Coach Swery enters his second season,
how did that transform?
And you get that development. You start getting players used to the playbook, the schemes that you're going to use, and when you get that rolling, it just things seem to flow a little more in motion, and that goes on both sides of the ball, special teams as well. You get everything worked together and start working together as one thing, and you start to get results brewing.
0-3 is what they started last year after the loss to Defiance. They lost to Liberty Center and Wauseon, and then some key injuries. Their quarterback went down. They lost some other key parts of that offense and wound up with only scoring 18 points a game. In the NWOAL, you're not going to win a ton of games. That's a tough league. It's a pretty balanced league, as most of us know, and you're just not going to do well. But again, you miss some of that. The bonus is now you go into year number 2 under Tyler Swery. Some of those young guys that are going to be in the starting lineup here tonight and throughout this season got some quality reps on Friday nights last season.
Yeah, you talk about the injuries and then comp that with the momentum that was gained late in the season, and it was about week 5, week 6 when Owen Espinoza had to step in as a young starting quarterback, but gained some of that experience. So as he's rolling into this season, you see it from the standpoint of he's not really a first-year, quarterback. He's been there. He's played under the lights, played in some big games, and with that brewing behind a lot of the guys there, you're going to see some steps being taken. And what you may not have saw early last year, you may see earlier this year. And if you get that rolling and get that going, you never know.
Well, one of the big pieces of the pie that are going to be missing from last year is their running back Andrew Williams. He was a 1,000-yard rusher last season. You know that Napoleon they've always got big guys up front. They like to push the pile. They like to move things and get those runners going. They've got some big shoes to fill there. I know looks like Jacob Aguilera might be getting some snaps in there at tailback and some other guys. But they've got some big shoes to fill, especially on a team that likes to run the football.
Yeah, you're going to see some runs tonight. I mean, it's what Napoleon does, and it's what they've always done. They're going to have the ball put it on the ground and be running. And experienced a little bit up there on the offensive line, and it's going to show, It's one of those things where when you get the control of the clock and keep it moving, that's how they're going to have to win games. And it's going to be keeping the ball away from the other team, going out there and holding the ball, moving the chains, and building off that, and they're going to do all of that through the run game, which is something that they're very good at.
Well, you mentioned the offensive line. 4 of the 5 starters from last year's offensive line are back, and you look across there, you've got 6'4", 290, 6'1", 205, 6'1", 265, 6', 170, and then 6'6", 286, and they're all seniors. 4 of those 5 starters last year. When you talk about running the ball, that's where it starts, and when you have that kind of experience, you got to be careful because those guys will do what they're supposed to. They know the blocking schemes. They know what's going to happen, and it makes it a lot easier when you've got a quarterback who is, even though he played the last half of last season, he's got to feel a lot more comfortable knowing that he's got those big guys up front.
You get veterans out there, guys who have played in the trenches and done this before, it covers up some mistakes, and you're going to get a little bit of a bonus out of that. With a young quarterback, you want an experienced line, you want a reliable backfield, and you need to put the tools around them to continue to move the ball and be successful on offense.
You talk about running as well. 448 of their 583 plays from scrimmage last year were run plays. That's a very, very high percentage. So I guess my question to you, Brent, is if you're Tyler Swery, you've had an opportunity to look at these guys, coming off of year one. What are you looking for, to build on? Where do you want to go with this team? And what does year number 2 look like for you?
Yeah, I think, in so many ways, you want to do your best to become a little more balanced. You're dealing with a little bit of a younger and experienced quarterback. It might not be as easy to do, but I think that's something that you'll look to do, is to maybe open it up a little bit, even if it's just a little bit on the surprise element of things, just mixing it in, getting the ball down the field. When you have 8, 9 packed in the box, you might have the opportunity to get some guys open over the top. So I think you're going to try to see them mix it up a little bit. It's still going to be primarily running the ball. It's still going to be controlling the clock, keeping it on the ground,
what do we know about them,
not turning the ball over, not committing penalties. I think the team that does that tonight is going to stand out. But if they're able to get a big play or 2 over the top, you never know. If they can surprise that Defiance defense and get a couple chunk plays, it might be one of those games where they're able to throw up 24, 26, 28, 30 points and really be able to put a pounding out.
Well, one of the guys that, when I talked to Coach Cooper earlier this week, Trey Rubenstein was the name that came up. He's a 6'4" receiver. He's very fast and athletic. You hear his name on the on the basketball court as well. This is an athlete that you got to watch for, and Coach Cooper knows that, and again, there's a strength that, like you said, you get that guy out in the open. He's 6'4", going against the strength of that Defiance defense on that back end with the veteran defensive backfield. Could be a nice matchup here tonight.
Yeah, 6'4", yeah, just get it open, get it up in the air. He doesn't have to have much space to get up over the top and get that. So, Rubenstein's going to be a guy that they're going to have to, you may see a double here and there if they get outside and start throwing the ball a little bit. And when you have weapons like that, you're going to try to use them. And it's all going to come down to, as we've stated, sure, they're going to be moving the ball on the ground. I think the biggest thing you need to look at is how many times they are able to get it through the air and be successful through the air.
Well, let's take another timeout here on our Strady Center for the Arts pregame show. When we come back, we're going to have the national anthem for you, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of these leagues here tonight. Western Buckeye League that Defiance plays in, Northern Lakes League, the new look Northern Lakes League. We'll take a look at that as well when we come back. It's our Strady Center for the Arts pregame show on DCTV Sports.
Talk about what this means to you and this team and this community.
The game in terms of tailgate parties and
Well, Coach, as we head into the new season, obviously we're going to get going with Napoleon. Big rivalry game. Talk about what this means to you and this team and this community.
The game in terms of tailgate parties, and I know there's going to be a bunch of food trucks at the game. So it's going to be a great
Welcome back to Fred J. Brown Stadium. Josh Bush, Brent Rowden with you as we are getting set for the 101st meeting between Defiance and Napoleon in the River Rock rivalry. And Brent, we mentioned before we took that quick time out there, as we look at the Western Buckeye League, obviously the Defiance plays in a 10-team league, so this is their only non-conference game, as it's been year in and year out. It's not going to get any easier. The Western Buckeye League, as you know, always seems to be loaded with good teams. You've got your Wapakonetas, you got your St. Mary's, who always have big guys. You've got Van Wert, who has found their way to some great athletes down there. And then you've always got to watch out for those Kentons and Salinas and Ottawa Glandorf, who had a rough year last year. They're going to come back, and they're going to be hungry for more.
Yeah, Ottawa Glandorf, a 2-win Ottawa Glandorf team, you never see that. So for that to be regular would be very surprising. I would expect them to be better. Van Wert, like you mentioned, that's a team that's building a program, kind of a little bit reminiscent to what we saw 15 years ago with Kenton, to where they're power in and out. They're rebuilding every single year, reloading every single year, never rebuilding. Walpock is Walpock. It's been that way for a few years. They're going to be one of the better teams. Good thing you always get in the WBL, a lot of parity.
I know you're a fan of parity.
Very much.
Well, flip it over to Napoleon, the Northern Lakes League, a little shake-up in the Northern Lakes League this year with the addition of Fremont Ross and Whitmer, I believe, joining in, and so they've added Clay and Finley in there as well, and they've actually split that into two divisions now, the Cardinal Division and the Buckeye Division. Napoleon is going to play in that Cardinal Division, along with Bowling Green, Southview, Clay, and Fremont Ross, kind of some of maybe the smaller schools, if you will, but the road's not going to be any easier for them.
No, Fremont Ross, I believe they lost Maumee and adding in a couple of those schools, which are power football schools.
Offensively, you've got some
it's going to make it a lot of fun this year.
Last season.
A little bit of a challenge,
for
but
you
you get
guys
those
that
two
you need to
divisions,
replace. But talk about what this offense
gets to be a little different than it normally is.
Well, before we get to that league play, of course, Napoleon's going to have to go through, once again, Liberty Center. They're going to have to go through, Wauseon before they head into their league schedule. Neither one of those are going to be easy tasks, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. 101st meeting between Defiance and Napoleon River Rock rivalry. Napoleon leads the overall series 55-43. We are down on the field as we throughout the night, as we're going to send it down to Garrett once again, and we'll get set as the Defiance High School Marching Band will be joining us to play the national anthem.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. And you can see the color guard making their way out onto the field, and the excitement continues to build here at Fred Brown Stadium. Folks getting out of their seats, ready to go as these guys get ready to back up to the booth.
Well, Coach, as we head into the new season, obviously we're going to get going with Napoleon.
And we are back at Fred J. Brown Stadium as, again, the Defiance Bulldogs making their way onto the field, awaiting the Napoleon Wildcats. Great show of support from the students and parents down there. A little tunnel, new look down there in the tunnel as well, with the new inflatable tunnel, I guess you'd call that.
It kind of looks like an inverted slip and slide or something. I don't know. What is it? It's a big blue hut.
It is. Again, we're excited for this first game to get underway. And I tell you, you made the comment earlier when we were walking up here.
Coming into your
aside
third
from the
year,
fact that they added 20 stairs,
coming off last year,
it doesn't feel like it should be football
season.
season.
First playoff win in quite a long time. What does that do going into the off season to build some confidence, give you guys some things to look at and go, listen,
no different this year.
We're on the right track here, and then how did that
we'll join now the Defiance High School Band of Class for the playing of our national anthem.
What a lot of times gets overlooked is those extra weeks of practice that you get. We had 2 extra weeks of practice last year. More opportunities for our guys that are back now to get instructed from the coaches, and I think the biggest thing for our kids is it proved to them that they can play on a big stage and they can play in big games. It doesn't get tougher than going week 1 of the playoffs over 3 hours away to play a number 3 seed and be in the 14 seed and go over there and knock them off and pretty handedly. And then even to go then into the next week and play a team that was just loaded with D1 athletes in Mansfield Senior and hold our own and really had opportunities in that game as well. So, you you really can't put a price on the value of that for your kids. And so then coming into this off season, the guys that were coming back, you know, they understood the standard. They understand kind of our expectations. They, you know, our coaches' words kind of hold a little bit more weight because they see the proof, you know, the proof of doing it the way that we ask them to do it, the way that we build our program. And so hopefully we can use that kind of as a springboard into this season.
Offensively, you've got some good pieces of the puzzle back from last season. Obviously, a few guys that you need to replace, but talk about what this offense is going to look like.
Well, you know, you get Steel back.
The Defiance High School band of class. Oh, I forgot about that. They brought the cannon back.